relevant than ever before. So, in case you aren't familiar with his career, allow me to enlighten you. He played quarterback for the Buckeyes from 89 to 92. In his senior year, he was the co-captain. Impressive. I'll give him that. The problem that Kirk has with the Dog Nation is directly related to his final college football game, which turned out to be his final football game ever. Flashback to New Year's Day, 1993, Georgia versus Ohio State in the Citrus Bowl. The one and the only time that they have ever played. What happened? Dogs on top, 21-14. But there's more to the game than just the score. The score doesn't tell you everything. So now I've done some deep research on this. And so what I have for you right now are excerpts from an article written by George White with the Baltimore Sun about the game. He starts with, Georgia fired with its quarterback and Ohio State had no answer. Now a quote from then Ohio State Nuts coach John Cooper. The Bulldogs' ability to throw the ball and our inability to throw it was probably the difference. You remember Coach Cooper from Ohio State, right? Yeah, me neither. At any rate, Ohio State quarterback Kirk Herbstreit conceded what was apparent. He did not throw the ball well, and I quote Kirk, for some reason, I was pressing a little bit. I never could find a groove. Pressing? Couldn't find a groove? Well, allow me to retort. Could it be that he was pressing because he was under constant pressure from the UGA defense? The same UGA defense that wouldn't let the rattled quarterback find a groove. But there's more. We're getting to the smoking football. With a game tied 14-14 in the fourth quarter, some Ohio State nuts have driven the ball down to our 15-yard line. First down. Georgia linebacker Mitch Davis drops their running back for a 1-yard loss. Second down. Kirk Herbstreit drops back to pass and throws a worm burner, which means it went basically skidding across the ground into triple coverage. Had it been a good pass, it would have been picked. So he was lucky. Third down. I want you to picture this in slow motion. Kirk comes up under center, takes the snap, turns to hand the ball, and then collides with his running back. Ball pops loose on the ground. Georgia D lineman Travis Jones smothers it for the game-changing fumble recovery. Dogs drive 80 yards for the game-winning TD. Game over, story over. Or is it? Football players are notorious for their trash talk on the field, right? It's a given, like death, taxes, and Vandy having a sucky football team. So I have it on very good authority that after Kirk's fumble, our mighty defense gave him quite a colorful earful. Things like, great game, guy, were not some of the things that came out of their mouths. He heard the vilest, most emasculating prose ever uttered on the gridiron. Kirk heard things he could not unhear, mean things that could not be unsaid. Feelings were hurt, things that could not only not be forgotten, they could not be forgiven. And a great football career ended on a very, very sour note with a taste that wasn't just bitter. Oh, no, no. The taste in Kirk's mouth was one of hot, steamy bulldog dung, and it was foul, horrid, and indigestible. Indigestible almost 30 years later, and it festered and it festered and it got gassier and gassier. And since we all know that revenge is a dish best served cold, that's what Mr. Herbstreit did. He served up his revenge ice cold again and again, using his bully pulpit as the voice of college football to blatantly and unabashedly, every single chance he got, campaign for his beloved Bucknuts and against our mighty Bulldogs. And after I told this story last week, he must have heard what I said, because he gave us another slight this past weekend on game day. He said, and I quote, "You look at powerhouse programs like Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State, and the president and the AD and the coach are all in alignment and blah, blah, blah crap from a talking head." Is Clemson a powerhouse right now? Is Ohio State better than us right now? So here we are. We're right back where we started. Kirk continues to give his backhanded compliments and his slights and directly hate on the Dogs, which makes us hate him right back, and around and around and around we go. Year after year, he endlessly campaigns for Ohio State and makes excuses for their losses and their poor showings against the weakest schedule in the country amongst powerhouse programs. But the Mad Dog is here in the capacity of peacemaker, right? You thought that, right? Because you see, what I want to do is I want to end this football feud. I want to broker a treaty. I want a football truce, if you will. And so here is my humble offer. Herbstreit, you, me, Jacksonville, world's largest outdoor cocktail party on October 30th. I know you're going to be in Athens this week. I have other plans that are pressing and immovable. I'll get to that later. And we know that we will both be in Jacksonville at the end of October when the stakes will be way higher. So here's what I will do. I will apologize on behalf of the Bulldog Nation for the unsportsmanlike conduct of our 1992 defensive unit. And in exchange, you agree to finally become transparent and unbiased in your reporting of our Georgia Bulldogs. And we agree that we'll accept your apology for your highly biased and unfair banter all these years. We'll shake hands, but we won't hug it out. And as an added bonus, the cherry on top, I will agree to be a guest picker on College Game Day at no charge. I can pay my own way. But if you want to show some class and pick me up with wheels up in Macon, that's fine. We have not one airport, but we have two. So just to make it fair for Florida fans, I guess I'll allow Laura Rutledge to be a guest picker or Tim Tebow or both. I really don't care. Everyone wins. You, me, college football fans everywhere. First and final offer, Herbstreit. Do you accept